In today's video, we will explore this amazing spring-fed lake. Then we will visit the grave of a human flag. And then end this adventure by traveling to Florida's highest peak. Believe it or not. I am Danny, and welcome to my channel, Danovator, where my experiences become your adventure. Remember to please subscribe, and please hit that bell so you'll be notified when I release my next video. DeFuniak Springs, which is located in the panhandle of Florida, began as a resort-like stop for the Pensacola and Atlantic Railroad in the late 19th century. Its centerpiece is Lake DeFuniak, which is one of two spring-fed lakes in the world that is nearly perfectly round. Located around Lake DeFuniak are these placards which tells the story of this town's early history. This is not the original 1885 depot, but there is evidence that the structure in front of you was indeed remodeled in 1910. It is now home to the Chamber of Commerce and the Walton County Heritage Museum, which was currently closed. But it did have this caboose that you can get a photo by. Just past the depot on Circle Street, this placard illustrates a walking tour around Lake DeFuniak and tells the story of Chautauqua. The movement began in 1874 in Chautauqua, New York, originally to educate Sunday school teachers in art, education, recreation, and religion. As it grew, it expanded to anyone seeking enlightenment. To continue its teachings during harsh winters, a winter campus was established here in DeFuniak Springs in 1885, operating as the Florida Chautauqua until 1928. Continuing my walk counterclockwise on Circle Street, I passed by a spot where tents once were erected for early classrooms and accommodations at the Florida Chautauqua Resort campus. It is now home to the John V. Lawson Amphitheater. This octagon structure started off in the 1880s as the Chautauqua Art Department, which historically made this building the earliest known organized kindergarten in the state of Florida. In 1906, it was converted into a cottage where Florida Chautauqua Superintendent Kenneth Bruce lived until his home was built. And speaking of Kenneth Bruce, inside the Walton DeFuniak Library is the home of Kenneth's and his father Wallace's collection of antique arms and armor. Unfortunately, the library was closed today. The library was built 1 year after it was established and is believed by many to be the oldest continuously run library in the state of Florida. But there are some who debate that the oldest is actually in St. Augustine, Florida. This amazing structure, which lies on the bank of Lake DeFuniak, was once the Chautauqua's Hall of Brotherhood. This great auditorium opened in 1909 and featured major lectures and special events during the Florida Chautauqua movement. It even hosted major nighttime concerts by internationally recognized musicians and orchestras. Across from the Hall of Brotherhood is the St. Agatha's Episcopal Church. It was built in 1896. It is home of one of the oldest working pipe organs in Florida. This is one of two overlooks on Lake DeFuniak. The distance around Lake DeFuniak is about a mile. Along Circle Street, I came across two unique cottages. This one is known as the Pansy Cottage. It was built in the 1880s. It belonged to author Isabella McDonald Alden, whose pen name was Pansy. She wrote several Christian books and once was an instructor of primary teaching skills during the first years of the Florida Chautauqua. beside the Pansy Cottage, is the Dream Cottage. It was built in 1885 for Wallace Bruce, who became the longest-serving president of the Florida Chautauqua Association. His son was Kenneth Bruce. I could only guess that this place was called the Dream Cottage because it looked enchanted. Being from South Georgia, I was delighted to see this street sign. As I was talking to the homeowner of this beautiful place, he showed me an old photo of DeFuniak Springs. Everywhere you walk around this lake is picturesque. It's an absolute beautiful day here in DeFuniak Springs, Florida. I completed the recommended Circle Drive walking tour at this church. The First Presbyterian Church was established in 1883. This building was built in 1923. Its structure was built out of a concrete product known as petrolite. I'm going to carefully cross the railroad tracks and explore some of the businesses in the historical section of town. I'm going to start down here at 6th Street and then make my way back. On the corner of 6th Street and Baldwin in front of the Last Stop Brew Vault is the Cousin's Main Lobster Truck. I remember this from Shark Tank. As I walk down these historical streets, I pass by some unique shopping experiences. Many of this business district was destroyed by fire in 1898, but was rebuilt at the beginning of the 20th century. I hope that so far you've been enjoying the time exploring with me today. This is looking back at Lake DeFuniak. In the storefront of the big store are old photos of the downtown's past. In the Woodham alleyway, I found this mural of children's depictions of local places in DeFuniak Springs. On 9th Street, beside this mural, is the very popular H&M hot dogs. And beside it is this unique donut stand. Let's head over to Magnolia Cemetery. There's a famous grave I want to show y'all before we leave DeFuniak. Located northeast of Lake DeFuniak at the Magnolia Cemetery, just a few steps to the right of this flagpole, is the gravesite of a human flag. Perry Bibbles, at the age of 90, was still able to hold onto a pole and stretch his body straight out. He was featured in Robert Ripley's Believe It or Not newspaper cartoon and was considered one of Ripley's favorite American oddities. He died on April 28, 1945 at the age of 98. His wife Stella is buried next to him. While living in DeFuniak Springs, he was a real estate investor. On Scribner Avenue, he once lived in this amazing looking home that he built in 1887. Our adventure ends down this road, which is located at the northern edge of Walton County, Florida. Lakewood Park is the highest natural point in the state of Florida with an elevation of 345 feet. It is also the lowest high point in all the states of the U.S. Lakewood Park makes for a nice rest stop where there's picnic tables, a restroom, 3 short nature trails, and this marker that sits on top of the hill. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed my DeFuniak Springs adventure, where we walked around Lake DeFuniak, where we visited the grave of Mr. Bibbles, and we came to the highest point in Florida, here also in Walton County. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. And always remember, your adventure awaits with a Denovator. Well, now I'm fixing to walk on one of these little short paths before I head back home. See y'all the next time.